The US government has issued an executive order expanding its sanctions list to combat terrorism. It coincides with the 18th anniversary of the 11th of September 2001 terror attacks in New York. The United States designated the leader of a Pakistan-based terror group on the stiffer sanctions list. The Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan had already been listed as a terrorist organization. Now one of its leaders has been named on the list. Noor Wali became the leader of the TTP in June 2018 after its leader died. The U.S. Foreign Ministry said that the terror group has claimed responsibility for many deadly attacks under Noor Wali. It described the latest listing as the most significant one since the aftermath of the 9/11 attacks. Now, the U.S. also designated an al-Qaeda affiliate in Syria as a specially designated global terrorist. 15 other terrorists have been added to the list. Noor Wali is among the 12 leaders of the previously designated groups. The White House said that the announcement is meant to deny resources to these terror groups to plan and carry out attacks. Now, their properties subjected to U.S. jurisdiction have been blocked. On the 11th of September 2001, the Twin Towers of New York's World Trade Center were attacked with hijacked planes, and more than 2,500 people were killed in the deadly attack. The attack was orchestrated by Osama bin Laden, the leader of al-Qaeda. India has reacted to the U.S. calling off talks with the Taliban. India expressed support for the UN Secretary General's call for direct talks with the Taliban. Indian envoy to the United Nations offices in New York, Syed Akbaruddin, said, and I quote, "It is the Afghan people who will implement and bear the consequences of any agreements arrived at. Hence, outcomes having constitutional legitimacy and a political mandate, and which are arrived at in an inclusive and democratic way alone can ensure stability," unquote. The Indian envoy also called for an atmosphere free of terror and pushed for peace and reconciliation. He said that the safe havens enjoyed by Taliban and other groups such as Al-Qaeda, Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed must also be addressed. The Indian envoy also said that acts of terror were being used to jockey for a place of advantage in the negotiating process. Remember, there's been a surge in violence in Afghanistan despite peace talks led by the United States. In a car bomb explosion last Thursday, Taliban killed an American soldier and 11 others in a busy diplomatic area near the U.S. embassy in Kabul. Now, Trump called off talks after the latest attack. On to our next story now. The Archbishop of Canterbury lay down on the floor of Amritsar's Jallianwala Bagh National Memorial, saying that he was ashamed of the crime committed. Archbishop Justin Welby was seen speaking at a memorial for the victims of the 1919 attack. The Archbishop said that he regretted the massacre of hundreds of Indians by the British colonial forces. Justin Welby was also seen reading out a prayer seeking God's forgiveness for the atrocity.
I cannot speak for the British government. I'm not an official of the British government. But I can speak in the name of Christ and say this is a place of both sin and redemption, because you have remembered what they have done, and their names will live. Their memory will live before God. And I am so ashamed and sorry for the impact of this, for this crime committed here.
The Archbishop was also seen tweeting about his visit. In a tweet, he said, and I quote, "I feel a deep sense of grief, humility and profound shame having visited the site of the horrific Jallianwala Bagh massacre in Amritsar today," unquote. Now, on the 13th of April 1919, some 50 British troops began shooting at unarmed civilians in Jallianwala Bagh who were taking part in a peaceful protest. At least 379 Sikhs were killed, according to official records, although some locals have said that in the past the toll was far higher.